It's Trey Styles on the beat.
What's up, you guys?
What's
Cheers to Monday, you guys. How are you doing today, Naughty? How you feeling?
I'm great. How about yourself?
Not the sound effects in the background. OMG, I'm feeling good. Was a little tired earlier, but I'm awake now. Um, on here with you, but then I'm still trying to keep my eye out for this college, championship game at the same
Yeah,
time.
for sure.
Yeah, I'm like, woo, it's starting off slow, but it's gonna pick up. I think in the second half. If I had to guess, I think it's gonna pick up a little bit in the second half.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out if Miami's gonna score tonight.
Right? I mean, right now the game is still very much in a winnable position,
Right.
So it hasn't gotten out of hand. It wasn't like Indiana against Oregon, because that was just like the game was over like I think the first 5 minutes. I was like, okay, this is not gonna go. This is not going too
Yeah, that
good.
game didn't go good at all.
At all. It really didn't. I was like, wait, what the heck happened? It was over so fast, and I was still trying to stay positive. I think I was messaging you like, they keep the faith, man. But I was like, okay, just let it go, Kadra. It's not gonna happen. Like, it's not gonna happen.
Right.
Just move on.
Yeah.
Nasir said they won't. What's up, Nasir? I haven't seen you on here in a few days. Glad to see you're doing well. All right, you guys, let's just get right into it, okay? Because we are down to the final four, right? Final four
Yeah,
teams
Final
in the
Four.
NFL. Final four, you guys, and after this coming weekend, we're going to know who will be in the Super Bowl. You guys, exciting times. If I'm being honest, I'm not excited for any of these teams that are left. Really, respectfully speaking, if I had to choose a team, I'm going for Sammy Ethan, y'all. I'm riding with the Seahawks now. My team is gone. I'm jumping on
Yeah.
the Seahawks bandwagon. I'm jumping on their
Yeah.
bandwagon all late.
I feel you. I'm not really excited about any of these teams, but I guess that's partly because it's new blood. It's
It
new
is.
blood.
That it is. New blood for sure.
And
Yeah.
outside of Matthew Stafford, who does have a Super Bowl ring,
Hmm.
he's now the best quarterback going. So,
And the
and he's
oldest.
right, and the oldest, right? He's not a Georgia boy per se. He did play at
Hmm.
Georgia. He was the
Hmm.
number one quarterback in the draft when he came out, but he's
Hmm.
out of Texas. It looks like New England is back. I mean, we're gonna get into it, but
Yeah, we
it's
are.
hard. It's hard to say. It's hard to find a team to root for right now. Because I've
Yeah, I
never
mean, I
been
was
a fan of Stafford's, even when he was at
really
Georgia. Right.
okay. I just think it's interesting because he went through a lot in this offseason. They didn't want to pay him, wanted to move on from him and whatnot. Like, he's old, we want to get somebody in. I'm like thinking back, if they had did that, I wonder would they still find themselves in the same place? Maybe, maybe not. You never know. And I was like, good thing that they didn't though.
Yeah, they didn't want to do that. They Matthew Stafford threatened to leave because he wanted to, negotiate for more money, which he rightfully so.
Yeah,
He
he
didn't
did
want
it.
to get paid. He didn't want to get paid with the Baker Mayfields and those guys was getting paid. He like, I'm a Super
And he
Bowl
shouldn't.
champion
I
already.
won.
So
Yeah, I'm a champion. What
So
you
he
mean?
threatened, he threatened to retire, and they was like, "No, what we're gonna do? We're gonna come to the table, and we're gonna give you a raise." And here we are.
All right, y'all. So we're gonna get right into it. We're gonna go backwards a little bit, starting with the last game that took place, which was obviously the Bears versus the Rams. Speaking of Matthew Stafford, um, hmm. Now we know how the game ended, right? Obviously, the
Yeah,
interception. I want to ask you your opinion on interception. When you watched the game, did you think it was Caleb's fault? Because to me, it's like there was a breakdown of communication. I'm
yeah.
like,
I thought,
it looked like Moore stopped and Caleb threw. Maybe he thought it was coming where he was, and then went a little bit further, to the to the left. What did you think when you saw it though?
When I saw it, I definitely thought it was Caleb Williams' fault. But when I went and watched the All 22 film, it
Mm-hmm.
seems like DJ Moore was supposed to cut. He was supposed to run to an open area. It was an area that nobody was in,
Mm-hmm.
and he kind of elongated the route. Like instead of just stopping and going to the spot, he kind of kept going and he ran an elongated route. With that being said, as a quarterback, this wasn't a timing route. I understand if it was a timing route and DJ Moore wasn't where he was supposed to be on time. This wasn't a timing route. Caleb Williams sat back in the pocket for 3 or 4 seconds. He had all day in the world to throw, and he decided to throw the ball where no receiver was. I understand that DJ Moore probably should have been in a certain spot, but he's not there. Don't throw it. You threw it into no man's land. So when that kind of things happened, I have to put it on the quarterback. It wasn't like it tipped off the receiver's hand or it was a
Mm-hmm.
timing route. It's certain times where a quarterback throws an interception where you're like, that's not his fault. But when
Mm-hmm.
you just blindly throw it into an area because maybe a guy should have been there, you
Mm-hmm.
can't do that.
Honestly, watching it and then I didn't watch all 22 film, but then like watching it back, because when I first saw it like live in real time, I was like, wait, what the heck happened? It seemed like there was a breakdown in communication there. I'm
Right.
just like, I know Caleb, like he's not. Everything happens. Obviously, you watch it. We get the privilege of watching it back on replay and saying, okay, well, why'd you do that? But out there live on the field, things are moving really, really fast. Like you just throwing it. You know what I mean? Sometimes not necessarily thinking or not thinking, I guess, taking the time to think is maybe a little bit slower, because the game moves really, really fast. You know what I mean?
Yes.
But
Yeah.
with that being said, I'm just like, wait, it looked like he stopped, and then I'm like the effort also. I'm like, dude, run, at least try to knock it down.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
don't let it be caught. At least knock it out. Let it be as incomplete if nothing. But like he just kind of stopped, started jogging. I was like, wait, what's going on? What happened? I honestly, this wasn't meant to be. But with how Caleb looked last year, obviously Ben Johnson, first time head coach. Caleb really, compared to last season, rookie season, the second season, he has made great strides
Yes.
under Ben Johnson's tutelage, mentorship, coaching. He's really flourished. So Chicago should be really excited for the future. I think he's really, really talented. I was texting you about it. You were like, I'm not really impressed with it. But to me, that was crazy. I was watching like, Caleb, where are you running? Like, where are you going? He was going back to the side.
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
was scrambling. I was like, dude, where the heck are you going? You going
That
into
was
the stands?
crazy.
Like, what are you doing? And then he hurled it, and then like, he actually caught that. I was like, holy
Yeah.
cow. It was a one heck of a play just to
It was a
lose like
great
that.
throw.
It
It was
was,
a
and then
it was
they
a
lost the
great throw.
game.
I
I was like,
wasn't
oh
impressed.
man, you
Yeah,
know.
I'll give him. It was a great throw. I wasn't impressed for the simple fact that two things. I wasn't impressed because it was just a 40-yard pass,
Hmm.
and just about every quarterback in the NFL can make a 40-yard pass. And the
Not running back
defender.
in a circle like that though.
Yeah, I mean
Like,
the thing is he threw it blind and he threw it on the money. That would, if anything was impressive, it was like he just threw it up there, but he threw it on the money. But the thing that really got me was the defender was, I don't know what Kobe Durant was doing.
hmm.
Like there's no way that should have been a completed pass. That should have been a interception or a knockdown, and the game should have been over. But because he was so out of position, I think he kind of gave up on the play because he thought the pass rush had gotten to Caleb. Caleb had drifted so far back behind the pocket. I think he drifted 20 yards behind the pocket. Like you think the play is gonna be over, but the play is never over until the referees blow the whistle. And so Durant got caught out of position and commit caught the touchdown, and there you go. Great play. You know what I'm saying? What can you say? One of the highlights of this year's playoffs.
The thing is with Caleb is that he's done this quite a few times throughout the
Right,
season.
right.
It honestly seems like he's more comfortable running, being like throwing those untimely throws than being in the pocket. If you ask me, he seems more comfortable like throwing on the move from the pocket. But so looking ahead, right? Because obviously they're staying in Chicago, ahead in the Cancun. I don't know which one.
Yeah.
Um, what do you what do you think is the next step? What would you like to see from Caleb in year three?
Just continue to get better. Just, I think he needs to improve his accuracy. He hasn't been the most accurate quarterback this year.
Mhm.
I'm not looking at his stats right now, his numbers, but I don't think he's a high completion quarterback. Like
Mhm.
he has all the arm talent in the world,
He does.
and
I agree with you on that.
I mean he's one of the elite. If you just talk about spinning the ball, playing off script, um, running to the left and completing passes, running to the right, yeah, his completion percentage this year is 58%. That's just not gonna cut it.
Mhm.
And I've been saying it all year. I'm like, man, Caleb really got away in a lot of games this season where
Mhm.
he didn't really play great. He had some comebacks that made him look better than he actually was. But you look
Mhm.
at his numbers, it's like he was okay. He was better than last year. So if he could
Very much
just
so.
improve that completion percentage and continue to improve upon what he did this year, man, you talking about a top 10 quarterback in the league.
Mhm. Just reading some of these comments real quick. What's up, brother D? How you doing?
Brother
He said, "Hey
D, what's
guys."
happening?
Nasir, I don't care either, but Rams have 4 players that I highly regard. But if Rams don't make it, hopefully there's a good Netflix or Prime movie. Otherwise, sharpen my bacon skills. Well, I feel you. I feel you, Nasir. He said, was it really only 40 yards,
Yeah,
Donnie?
it was only 40 yards.
No, he's not. He's like, yeah, it was.
Yeah, I
That's what
went
it
back
was.
and watched the film.
Nasir says the Kobe is a ball hawk. He didn't realize Komet was behind him. He represented well-being, a 4-year HBCU player.
Yeah,
I think
I like
I don't
Kobe.
think he thought he was gonna make that throw. He was like,
Yeah,
"Ain't no
he
way he making
didn't.
this. Like this game is over, you know." So he just kind of stood there as opposed to finishing the play.
Right.
But you said you gotta finish it, see all the way through.
Yeah.
Don't assume nothing, you know, especially when the game is is close like that. You know, you're only one possession away. For me, I do agree with what you said about Caleb Williams in terms of working on his accuracy. It's always when you're like, I know it's not his first year, but I'm gonna still say it's kind of like his first year's coming out party because it was so awful last year, and we got to see more of what he could really do with Ben Johnson there as the head coach. But now that teams really know how you like to move and what you want to do, it's not gonna be as easy. You know what I mean? They're gonna make it a little bit harder for you in
Right.
year 3 than it was this season. So I look forward to seeing how he navigates that, and how he moves forward. But I do think they found their franchise QB, and if he keeps going this way and he keeps improving, I do believe that they win a Super Bowl. I think he could win an MVP too if he keeps
Oh.
playing like this. He's very exciting.
I mean,
He's
he
very
got a
exciting.
ways. He got a ways to go. He got a
Of
ways to
course,
go
I'm not saying
after
next
that.
season he's gonna win MVP. I'm not
Right.
saying that. I'm saying in the future. You know, like I'm not talking about like
Yeah.
not next year.
One thing about the NFL, once they get
Mhm.
film on you and they start to, strategize against a particular player, then we get
Mhm.
to see who's who. You know,
Mhm.
who are the greats, who are the real. You know, we're gonna talk about another guy later who had a great rookie year and he's regressed every
Yeah.
year. You know, so these young quarterbacks, the Drake Mays, the Jaden Daniels, the Caleb Williams, the Bryce Youngs, all these young quarterbacks,
Mhm.
it's about consistency. You can have one good year, but when you've seen guys like Peyton Manning, Drew Brees, Tom Brady,
Mhm.
Aaron Rodgers, guys who have multiple great years, Lamar
Mhm.
Jackson, multiple great years, then you start to, the expectations become a little bit different. So
Mhm.
it was a good season for Caleb Williams. He definitely improved. He has a lot to work on, but man, the sky's the limit for him. I mean, he got all the talent in the world. It's just, can you continue to get better? Watch film. When they start to strategize against you, can you still beat them? And that's what we're gonna see going forward. But he has a great coach in Ben Johnson too. I mean, Ben Johnson finally put him in a system where he can thrive in instead of last year when he had Eberflus. I didn't know what Chicago was doing. What's your game plan? How do you want to
Eagles
win
didn't know what
games?
he was doing.
Right. And Ben Johnson, we know what Ben Johnson wants to do. He had now, and we're gonna talk about this. He had the same game plan that he had last year in Detroit as offensive coordinator. Chicago wants
Mhm.
to run the ball, and run play action off of the run. And it works because when you got DeAndre Swift and you got Monongai, they running lights out the ball. It opens everything up for Caleb Williams, which is why he has to increase that completion percentage.
Mm-hmm.
But Ben Johnson, take the 3. Leave that
I'm
Detroit
thinking,
stuff in Detroit, man.
you
Leave that
think
Detroit.
back like that last before they got the touchdown, you think about the points they left on the field because they at one where a Swift kind of jumped over and then he landed, he didn't get to the end zone. You're like, man, if you would have kicked that field goal, you got 3 points. So you would like to think they might have won the game. When you think about everything in totality, doesn't mean that they would have, but there's 3 points there that you would, if your kicker makes the kick, you get that field goal. I was going to ask you, do you have any gripes? Because it was a topic of conversation, and even when I was watching, I was like, "Go for 2." Do you think that he did the right thing by not going for 2?
Yeah, you go for 2 on the road. At home, you go for the tie. The old rule was at home, I go for the tie. On the road, I go for 2 to win. He at home, you can't lose a game because you went for 2 and you at home. You got those fans there. Let me just take my chances in overtime. We got momentum right now because after Caleb Williams made that play, all the momentum was with Chicago. So, you had momentum and then you got to stop in overtime. And now you driving. You 15 yards away from being in field goal range before Caleb Williams threw the pick. So I think Ben Johnson did the right thing. It just, stuff happens in games, and it just didn't turn out their way.
Honestly, I thought he was going to go for 2 because of how he had been playing pretty much. He kept, going for it. And I was like, he's going to channel that Dan Campbell energy. He's going to go ahead and go for it, win or lose, and be like, heck yeah, this is the Chicago way, man. We're fearless, like we dogs, let's go for it. And I thought it would have been a good time too because they had momentum. You got the Ram players. They're like, how the heck did he make that throw? You know what I mean? Like right now, they're like, oh man, season's on the line right here. So I think it would have been a good time. Just because everybody's like a little bit off, like still like, wait, how did even Sean McVay? You saw his face when they showed him. He was looking like, how did he make that throw? The way his face was looking. So if there was ever a time to go for a 2-point conversion, that would have been it. I'm not mad at what he did. He went the safe route, and had Caleb not throw that interception, then I'm going to go on ahead and say they would have gone likely to hit that field goal, and they would be moving on, to an NFC Championship. But that's not the way it went.
Right. I think it could have been a few things. I don't know. I'm not in Ben Johnson's head. I don't know what he was thinking, but there's a few things that I'm thinking about why he might have not went for it outside of him being at home. The San Francisco game they had just played a few weeks ago when they had the ball last and they were like 4th and goal to go, 3rd and goal to go for a chance to beat San Francisco, and they couldn't get the ball in the end zone then. And then I look at this game where you went for it twice on 4th down when you could have got field goals. So you left 6 points out off the board. And if you potentially go for this 2 and you don't get it, it's going to come back that you left 7 points off the board. Yeah. So maybe he just felt like with all that had been happening over the last few weeks and even in that game that he just didn't want to risk leaving more points off the board. So, and they had momentum too. So maybe those are some of the reasons why he didn't do it. But you're right. I wouldn't have been surprised if he went for it, considering how aggressive he had been, not only that game, but all season.
Yeah. I mean, you could always, like I said, hindsight is always like, when you can look back and say, man, why did he do this? Maybe he should have did that, but if he goes for it and then they miss it, it's like, why don't you just kick it? Just kick it and go to overtime and just go on ahead and see if you can win there, and then, you're always going to find something to say about it, depending on, how it ends up, and unfortunately it wasn't, it didn't in the way they wanted it to, but all in all, they still exceeded expectations. They were playing with house money. Matthew Stafford is, the favorite for MVP. I think he's going to win MVP, when they announce it later on, obviously, in the season. They had expectations. You got Matthew Stafford there. He won already, MVP. And then you lose to, a second year, a QB, who looked crazy last season, first year head coach, you know what I mean? So, they did what they were supposed to do, in terms of how the fans and everybody are looking at it. So,
Well, like you said, Chicago really overachieved. I believe
Yeah,
they did. I
playing
mean,
with
when
that
you
house
came in,
money. Yeah.
right, when you were coming into the season, you know, it was Green Bay and Detroit. Chicago, okay, they might improve, but we didn't think they were gonna win the division and be hosting playoff games in Caleb Williams' second year, especially considering the way he looked just a year ago. And then you bring Ben Johnson in and everything totally flips. So now going into next year, the expectation is another division win and another home playoff game. And how are you going to perform when you're not under anyone's radar anymore? Now, when Chicago comes to town, this is a team we have to get up for. This is a team we got to get ready to play because we know what they got behind
Especially
center.
in that fourth quarter.
Right.
Especially in that fourth quarter.
Right.
Read some of these comments. What's up, Prez? He said heartbreaking loss. Nasir, what if he had number one wide receiver and DJ becomes a Reggie Wayne number two? Super Bowl to nail polish to a nail polishing QB. I don't think his nails were painted yesterday though, y'all. And that post game press conference, I was like, oh, his nails are not painted. Maybe that's why they lost. Maybe he needs to put his nail polish on, man. Maybe it brings him the good luck and the good vibes. I'm just saying. Maybe that's why they lost. I don't know. I don't know, man. Prez, these quarterbacks been losing the interception mines in the playoffs. You know what? You got a valid
Yeah,
point.
he threw 3 yesterday. I mean, he threw
The
3
theme has
interceptions in the
been
playoffs.
interceptions and defense.
Right.
Like real talk. Hold on. Nasir said, nah, Ben Johnson play calling was awful. Kick that extra point. Prez said Ben is on the hot seat. I don't think he's on the hot seat at all.
No,
I
he
don't think so.
definitely not on the hot seat.
Yeah. wait, hold on. Caleb's biggest flaws are not his interceptions, but not running more.
Yeah. I didn't think. I mean, he only threw what 7 interceptions the whole season. That's not too bad. You know, that's not his biggest flaw. His biggest flaw is the completion percentage. He's really not a running quarterback. He showed that he can't, and he will run if necessary. You know, he'll get out there and he'll escape pressure. He's very good at escaping pressure and extending plays and that type of thing. But he's not. He's never going to be Lamar Jackson. That's not his game. He's a quarterback. He wants to throw the ball.
I mean, there was one play, I forgot what play it was and what it actually happened. I think it was the fourth quarter, where he was like, throw it, do I scramble? And then he started running. He was kind of jogging. He kind of sped it up real fast to get that first down. I was like, go ahead, Caleb, track me. Do what you got to do and get the fresh set of downs. So maybe we'll see how Ben Johnson challenges him more in the offseason to see if he pushes him to use his legs more and do some different things next season. It'll be interesting to see though,
Even when he runs, he doesn't run for contact. He's gonna slide or he's gonna run out of bounds. He's not trying to barrel through linebackers and get the extra yard. He's
not Jackson Dart. He's not barrel through linebackers.
No, he ain't about that life. But he plays a wise game, a very sage game. He wants to protect his body. He knows that if he goes down, that's it. He gives them the best opportunity to win, so he has to stay on the field. So I applaud quarterbacks who want to beat you out the pocket or beat you with their arm.
I can't wait to see next year, and I'm hoping that Jaden Daniels is healthy. I would love to see these two play again next year, and hopefully everybody's healthy. Nobody's out, arm twisted, elbow, whatever.
Right.
Really and truly. Prez, Kaja, I can take you. You can take me where? where you take me where? What does that mean? All right. You guys, we're gonna move on right to the game. Before that, before we had that game, we had CJ Stroud. And man, did you turn your head on CJ? Did you turn your head on?
For my
don't boo the young man. He's already going through it, man.
There we go.
Did you see how he looked? Oh man, I don't think he could take any more criticism, man. It has been rough. I'm like, If I'm CJ, just cut your TV off, cut
Yes.
all your socials off. Nobody call me for like the next 2 weeks. I don't want to. I don't want to hear nothing, see nothing. I know I sucked. Don't tell me anything more. I know. I know. I know. Watching this game though, like all jokes aside, though, I don't want to make fun of him. He's regressed a lot. Let's just
Yes.
say it, And I'm honestly speaking, I don't know what it is. I'm just like, is it that D'Amico, is not getting the right, offensive coordinators in there? Is it that something is just going on with CJ mentally, and the issue is just him? Because physically, he still has everything that he had before. Like he
Right.
hasn't had any crazy injuries, and he torn Achilles, ACLs that will kind of impair, him from being the same player that he was. But something has happened. I don't know what it is. What do you think the biggest reason is though for his regression?
You know, and you talk about guys who don't want to run. CJ definitely doesn't want to run. You know, but I
Everybody don't want
remember
to run, man. Some folks just want to stay in that pocket and throw.
sometimes these quarterbacks gotta just humble yourself. Just watch what you
Mm-hmm.
say. I remember his rookie year, he was like,
Mm-hmm.
"Oh yeah, I'm a top 5 quarterback in the league." Hold on, you just
Mm-hmm.
had 1 year. You got to come back and do this again. They're gonna game plan against you, and you
Mm-hmm.
got to keep coming back. You nowhere near top 5 quarterback in this league.
Oh
Humble
my.
yourself. After that first season and going into last year, I'm seeing him all over, him and Michael Parsons all over in China, sumo wrestling, all this. Everything but being a quarterback, which is fine if you're gonna come up and you're gonna perform. But if you don't perform, people like me are gonna say you're not working hard enough. You're not studying hard enough. You're not doing what it takes to be a great quarterback.
I knew
And
you were gonna
so,
bring up that. I knew you were gonna get that wrestling. I knew I was waiting for
yeah,
the. I was waiting
yeah.
for it to come. I was like, we'll get the
And then
wrestling.
he was at the softball game, and then he had to take
Oh,
Amber Rose home, and all like you doing like
he was being a gentleman as his
it
mom
don't
raised
matter.
him to be.
My point is I don't want to see you.
Well, I don't think he was trying to be seen. He was trying to
Yeah,
do a nice
that's
deed.
yeah, but he
But
out.
the cell phones are everywhere, man.
Yeah, you out. And you showed me this early in the year where Lamar Jackson was on the plane and the teammate came and was trying to get him to be on the little social and Lamar was
Yeah, I
like,
forgot
why,
what his name is.
like I'm not supposed to be seen. He gets it. We doing stuff, but I don't need people to see me.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see Lamar nowhere. I don't see him taking Amber Rose home. I don't see him going to sumo wrestle with teammates in the off season. I don't see Lamar. I never saw Tom Brady. I never saw Peyton Manning. I'm under the illusion that they watching film the whole time. They ain't doing nothing else. They ain't playing with the
So,
kids. They
so
ain't be,
is Pat Mahomes exempt because he's won a few Super Bowls already? Because I see him hanging out with Travis and Taylor Swift, opening
man,
restaurants,
when
going out to dinner and whatnot. No,
when you
is he
win
exempt?
and you go and you in the AFC Championship game every year, you get a
You
pass.
good? Okay,
Yeah, you
okay,
good.
okay.
Right. We know that you now it's all about what have you done for me lately. Pat Mahomes, maybe he hung out with Travis Kelsey and Taylor Swift a little bit too much. I need you to get back in the film room. That's that's just how it goes.
Let me read some of these comments. Um, what is it? Nadi, come on, brother. You only seen the USC Caleb, the OU QB is number 2 to Lamar. Yes, he's running out of bounds. He's a DeBarge brother. That Houston
What
lifestyle is a real
uh,
thing.
I was gonna ask him what did I say that wasn't different than what he said?
Um,
I just said the same thing you said. I saw him in Oklahoma. I saw him at USC.
mhm.
Yeah, he ain't Lamar Jackson though. He's not
No, I
Josh
mean,
Allen. He's not Cam Newton.
did he think he was though?
No, I don't think he ever thought he was. But he's, and last year, his rookie year, he was way more reluctant to run. He didn't want to do any running. I think Ben Johnson probably told him, I need you to do a little bit more than you're doing, especially when you got to get out of harm's way and extend drives because
Hmm.
that's what we need you to do. So he did a much better job of that this year than last year. But even with that being said, I don't think he's ever I don't think he even wants to be that type of quarterback. because those type of quarterbacks don't last long.
Mm-hmm. Hold on. So, Perez is like Amber Rose. Yeah, this happened
Right.
like I think was it second year I think last year in between
Yeah,
rookie and
yeah.
sophomore
Right,
year.
right.
It wasn't recent. It was a
But
while
ain't
ago.
Amber Rose like 40 some years old? Ain't she in the 40s? Like,
I think she is now like early
yeah, bro,
40s.
you
Yeah.
22
Mhm.
years old, man. She can get her own ride home. You ain't gotta get her no ride
See,
home.
you know what? When you are raised to be a gentleman,
Right.
okay,
Yeah.
like it's a little bit
No,
different.
she good. If she can't
I,
get no, how she get there?
look, look,
Okay, she can get back the
it was
same way.
earlier in the daytime when
Yeah,
she
but he gotta
arrived.
watch out for women
It
like
was
that.
late.
Women like that they wanna leech off a young man. She got a
But she,
reputation. That's all I'm saying. Be careful
well,
when you
look,
trying to take people like Amber Rose. You get her in your car, next thing you know, she in your house.
well, if she get inside the house, then that's a CJ
Right. It's
Stroud
over.
decision
Now
unless she
he
broke in there.
right.
But
Now he
um,
outbred.
but there, but there were people talking about them dating and whatnot about the age difference. She was like, "Y'all relax." He just was nice and drove me home. Nothing more.
Right.
That's all that said. Nothing else happened,
Right.
and we hadn't really seen them. At least I haven't talking or hanging out or anything since that one time. So um Nasir, Houston lifestyle is a real thing. It makes you lazy or complacent. I haven't heard. I'm out of locker room, but when I listen to the head coach, D'Amico, when he talks about CJ and the teammates, I haven't heard anyone say like they don't see him putting in the work. They could be covering for him now. I don't know. I'm just gonna go with what they said because I'm not there.
Right.
To me, he just does not look, and he hasn't looked the whole season. Ever since he got hurt, and then Davis came in, like, and they were winning games. And he looked promising, looked pretty decent, for a backup. With that Houston Texans defense, when he came back, he just looked like a shell of himself to me. Like he hasn't, he looks unsure. He looks like he doesn't have any kind of confidence. Yesterday, it was all in his body language, like beginning of the game. He just looked like, man, I can't get it done. And he was out there, he didn't quit, but he just looked like he was defeated before the game even really began, the whole entire time. And for
Right.
me, I think at halftime, because he didn't believe that he could win, I'm like, backup QB halftime. And I
Yeah.
know that might be the wrong decision depending on who you ask. You had some former head coaches said they would have benched him and put the backup in. Somebody's like Ryan Clark is like, no, rock out with CJ. It depends on who you ask, but we have a prime opportunity here to
Yeah,
win
they
this
asked
game
Miko. They asked
because Drake
Miko and
May was not playing his best game.
no,
He
he
was
ain't
struggling
played
too.
his best game all
You
playoff,
know,
actually.
but it's like, man, that Houston Texans defense is so legit, and they really put them in prime position, honestly, to win it all. When you think about who's left, just off the strength alone of that defense, and I'm just like, man, for the strength of the team, I'm like, D'Amico, what you gonna do? Like, what you gonna do? And at the
Yeah.
halftime, when they first came out, I was like, okay, he's playing a little bit better. He seems like a little bit more, since the urgency, and then it went right back to where it was,
Then he
like
threw the
just as
pick.
quick as it
Right.
started. I was like, oh man, like I was like, first snap, boom, boom. I was like, okay,
Right.
okay. No, 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 no. It's not happening this game. And I'm just like, man, people lose jobs. When these things keep happening,
Yeah.
people lose jobs.
Yeah.
Kids gotta go to different schools. Wives gotta find new beauty salons and nail
Right.
techs. This is a real thing. So I was like, Tamika, I don't know. But I respect him for rocking with him though. Would you have if you're the head coach? Would
Oh
you have
yeah, yeah,
mentioned
yeah. Like D'Amico said, they asked D'Amico about it. He was like, he's my guy. I gotta stick with him. And
that?
that's
He
what
didn't
I
say
was
that. Yeah.
saying. Like, if you pull CJ and you go with Davis Mills, you might not ever can go back to CJ. You might as well go ahead and start looking for another quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
And if you want to keep CJ and want to keep developing him and want him to be your guy going forward, then you just gotta live with the bad. It's
Mm-hmm.
unfortunate. That's just the situation that you're in. And he rocked out with him. I respect that. Rock out with your
I
guys.
respect that.
Rock out with your guys that got you there. Don't
He
turn
wasn't
you
the one that
don't
got
turn
him
your
there though. It was that defense, if you ask
I
me.
mean,
But
you're right. The defense did get him there, and Davis Mills actually kept the team afloat.
he
When
did, yeah.
CJ went down, Davis Mills came in and he won a few
Mm-hmm.
games and really helped that team get to where they ultimately got to. But
Mm-hmm.
CJ is the guy. He's the number 2 pick in the draft, and they had to ride with him. I understand that. I respect D'Amico Ryans for sticking by him and saying all the right things at the press conference. And I can guarantee you in the offseason, they got to figure he knows they got to figure out this quarterback thing. They got to either figure out why my quarterback is continually regressing every year, or if I can't figure it out, what's the contingent plan going forward? Because the
Mm-hmm.
defense is too good. The defense is Super Bowl ready. And, the window for winning a championship is always small.
Yeah, I was
It's
just gonna
small.
say, you can't take for granted when you got an opportunity like that and a defense like that. Because next year, if somebody gets hurt, players are no longer on the same team. We want to get paid, and they have to be traded, and you got to move things around, for cap
Right.
space and things, and then it changes everything just that
Right.
quickly. So that's one of the reasons why I said, I know it's a when he said he loves CJ, that's his guy, and I respect what he said and him standing by him, but there is a whole team, not
Yeah.
just one person on that team, and to get there this year when you have, and then the Broncos, are they're missing their starting, QB now, they got their backup. You got a real opportunity, even more so, like to really, really, get to the Super Bowl. And it's so unfortunate though. Going forward though, there's a lot of Mike McDaniel, maybe, he's one creative mind. And I have to also mention that there were a lot of injuries, that they're missing, Nico, they're missing Tank, like they're missing some key players as well. Same thing last season. I think Stephon got hurt very early on. I forgot who else was injured. So there was again some
Tank
more
Dell is
injuries.
still out. He'll be back next
Yeah,
year. And
you
Nico
know
Collins was out
the
with
way
a
his leg
concussion.
looked, I was like, I don't know when he's coming back, man. That was a
I
nasty
mean,
injury.
hopefully he can come back.
That was a nasty injury, man.
Yeah.
So I'm just putting that out there. But they do need to figure out, like, CJ, like, how come, like, what's going on, man? Like, like, what's happening with you, and how can we do it? I read the stacks. I didn't know this haven't memorized watching the game, but they were saying that they blame some of it on D'Amico for the play calling because CJ Stroud threw interceptions. I think it was 3 of them on 1st and 10. He had his most, he had the most success in the game,
Right.
on 3rd down. So why keep doing the same thing over and over when you see its results in interceptions? Now some interceptions were knocked down, some of it kind of bounced off somebody's helmet. Like you can't make this stuff up when you watch it. It's like, man, that's unfortunate.
Right.
But ultimately, he didn't look good last week either. And I think we came on here and said, when they lose, it's going to be because CJ was struggling. It was going to
Correct.
come back to him at some point. I said at some point that defense is not going to get you out of it. They're going to try to keep you in it, but it's going to take him to keep you, and ultimately manage the game enough to win it. And I'm hoping that this offseason they bring somebody in there. Cliff is out there now. He's leaving Jaden, so maybe snatch him up. Mike, he's very creative. But ultimately, you got to get some weapons as well, and hopefully they can stay healthy too.
Well, he has weapons. He got a lot of young receivers that they drafted fairly high. Your running game is pretty good. Your O line could be better because they got rid of Larry Tunsil, that allowed him to go to Washington. He was the best offensive lineman you had, so maybe you can bolster the line up a little bit more. But they got a decision to make on CJ Stroud. This offseason. I mean, are we gonna give him $250, $300 million, or
No,
we're gonna let him play it out and maybe have him pick up the 5th-year option, and so he can have 2 years left on the deal? I mean, what are we gonna do? So they got to figure that out this offseason. That decision is gonna be huge because that can also play into that quarterback's confidence. How confident are you in me? Because like you pointed out, he looks like he lacks confidence. There's some sort of mental issue that he's dealing with, and when the team doesn't show that they're confident in you by giving you the money, now you're under pressure to go and show and prove that you are the guy. For some guys, that makes them better. For some guys, it makes them crumble. So this is going to be a huge offseason for the Houston Texans and CJ Stroud. We'll see what they do. As far as offensive coordinator go, like I said, Nick Caley, this was his first year as an offensive coordinator. I don't know if D'Amico Ryans allowed him to call plays or how much input that he had in the game planning of the game, but it might do CJ Stroud well to have a more experienced offensive play caller. That's something that another thing they're gonna have to figure out this offseason. So we'll see, but Nick Caserio is he came from New England. He's on that New England tree. He helped build a lot of those teams that were winning Super Bowls in New England. He's done a great job since he's been in Houston. They've been to 3 straight playoff appearances. They won division 2 times. I think he is the right guy to figure out what they need going forward. So we'll see what they do. It's gonna be a big offseason for the Houston Texans.
I think you gotta do something. And honestly speaking, there's no way on God's green earth with what I've seen the past 2 seasons. If I'm ownership, I am comfortable paying you 250 plus million. Like I can't,
Right.
I can't do that right now. I can't.
Right.
Now I'm willing to see how this plays out, and if it plays out well, then we can go ahead and get you your money. But right now, and all this, even if CJ's being honest with himself, like forget to the public, you know what I mean? If he's looking at himself and how he's played, you gotta know, dude. Like right now, somebody paying you 250 plus million is not it. It's just not. Respectfully. Now, sometimes, I think about what happened with Bryce when he got benched, because Bryce out there looking unsure of himself, not really sure if he was number one or he should be number one. Could I still play? What's happening with me? He got benched. When he came back, he played better. It did something for him, it seems, of getting benched and then coming back, so that could be, I'm not saying bench a CJ. I'm just saying if you say, look, right now we can't pay you, we're gonna let you go on ahead and play out, 5th-year option, that may make him say, okay, you know what, let me get this together. Let me figure it out and do what I got to do. Study more film, talk to a life coach, a pastor. I don't know, but that might do something for him to get him, together up here.
Right.
Maybe read some of these comments real quick before we go on to the game before that on Saturday. So Nadi, the running made him supplant. Remember, you saying that right?
Yeah, supplant.
Supplant Spencer Rattler. Caleb has wiggle and acceleration. He's the second best active dual QB when he wants to be second best dual act. Okay, that's a matter of perspective.
It's not a matter of perspective. You got a guy in Buffalo who has records for the most touchdowns. Like, come on.
Well, he said second best, so I'm like, I don't know who you saying is the first, but everybody got their own opinion.
Lamar is the first.
Okay.
And then you got Josh Allen, and I think those two are they are above, head and shoulders above everybody else when you come to dual threats. But down to every quarterback in the league is somewhat a dual threat now. You have your pocket passing guys, but a lot of guys are somewhat dual threat. I said Caleb has wiggle and he escapes pressure and he's running a lot more. I just said he's not Lamar Jackson. That's fact.
No, he's not. No, he's not Action Jackson. That's a 2-time MVP there.
Right.
Got to put some respect on his name, man.
I get 1,000 rushing yards at the QB position.
Press said trade him for Shador. Talking about CJ Stroud. Or maybe get Aaron. Could you imagine Aaron Rodgers jumping to that side after the way the Texans had him all over the place like a week and a half ago?
I will say if the Houston Texans had Aaron Rodgers this year, they'll still be playing football.
Aaron Rodgers was a little suspect in some of them games though, which you might be right.
Yeah, but he's not gonna throw 4 interceptions though.
Honestly speaking, that the Patriots defense, I know before I read just these comments, I think they heard all week long that Texans defense, and it was like, you know what, we tired of hearing this damn thing, okay?
Yeah.
They're gonna come up in here, we're gonna show them that their defense is not better than us. You know what I mean? We're gonna show them what's really up, when they head here, to New England. And they, honestly speaking, I think they were a little bit more, just a tad bit more physical than the Texans were, which is, a little bit surprising, but they gave, Drake May was on the struggle bus yesterday, he was having a hard time,
yes,
and they gave him every opportunity to still put them in position to win games. And that's what I'm saying. You gotta have your QBs back, man. This is a whole team sport. Everybody gotta buy in. Everybody gotta buy in, if you ask me. And they did what they needed to do to make sure that they came out with the W.
Yeah, New England, Mike Vrabel has those guys playing lights out. You know, great coaching. He gets the most out of his players. I like Vrabel a lot.
Yeah, I like him standing in a tunnel, shaking every player's hand, 1-on-1. To me, that I like that. Shows a lot of respect that he has for for his team and how he feels about them. I want to say Caleb said, Nasir said he didn't have. I just got paid and sitting this one out. Nico Collins. DJ said, "What's good, people? What's good, DJ?
What's good, DJ?
DJ also Aaron Rodgers, widow throne pick. Hold on. Aaron Rodgers window throne just pick sixes with the Texans. With the Texans. Going to she already said 5th-year option. Prez, bring Deshaun Watson back. No one taking that contract on, man.
He was great in Houston.
He's staying there. Ain't nobody paying him $80+ million.
Right.
Oh, Miami just scored. Ruben Bain is playing like a first-round pick, and reports are that he probably has the flu. Oh, you were just saying this, and now I'm saying, yeah, Mark Fletcher scored. Okay, we're saying the same thing about the game.
Yeah.
DJ said, my bad. All right, y'all. So moving on, we're gonna move on to the game. What was the game before that, y'all? What game was it? Oh, Seahawks. Seahawks. I'm like, what happened?
Yeah, because it wasn't much of a game.
Right. It was not. Seahawks versus the Niners. Oh man. I thought I was like, I think I picked the Seahawks to win. I can't remember. I think I did, y'all. Drop in the chat if y'all remember what our predictions were. I know you had picked the Niners, I believe, right? I didn't want to pick them.
I think we both picked the same. Hold on.
We did?
We both pick the same?
Yeah, we did.
I think we might have picked the same AFC teams, but different NFC teams. I'm not sure.
Maybe we did. I'm honestly speaking, I'm happy for Sam Darnold. This week everybody was like, "Can Sam just manage the game? Can he not, take care of the ball? Is he going to see ghosts?" All these different things. You heard that for so many weeks, And honestly speaking, it was like Texans, on the opposite side. Like he didn't have to really do much at all.
Just do nothing.
Take care of the ball. Like don't do nothing crazy. And that he did, like he didn't do anything, anything extra, and they also put him in prime position, the way they were doing the play calling and the schemes, everything. It was really, really, honestly speaking, it was, I was not expecting a Kyle Shanahan led team to be beat like that. I thought it was going to be just a little bit closer. I think I text you like, okay, they still got time. And you were like, you lying, right? I'm like, they still got time. Keep the faith. And I was like, okay, another touchdown. They still got time. Another one came. Some more time. And then I was like, okay, you know what? You got it. That's it. This game is over. That's it. The backup QBs came in at the end. I was like, oh man, this game is really over. But watching this game though, what did you think? I'm gonna go to the Niners though. Do you think they'll be back next season once they get their players and stuff back?
I mean, anytime you got a Kyle Shanahan coach team, and you got a good quarterback in Brock Purdy, you gonna compete. You're gonna be in the thick of things. I mean, after this season with all the injuries that they had, and they were still able to make the playoffs and compete for a division title, I have no reason to think why they couldn't get back. They've been to the playoffs a few times. I mean, not the playoffs, but the Super Bowl a couple times, and it just ain't worked out. But Shanahan continues to have this team compete at a high level. So yeah, I think San Francisco will be back in the playoff hunt again next year. They might even be even better. They got some questions to figure out on the defensive side of the ball. I think they need to get younger on the defensive side of the ball. How much does Christian McCaffrey have left in the tank? What are we gonna do? Right. What are we
He's
gonna
always
do?
injured too. He's always going to be injured
Yeah.
at some part during the season.
Right. Right. Those hits take a toll, and they use them a lot. They
Yeah, they do.
passing the ball, they running the ball, he blocking, he doing everything. Is George Kittle? I mean, is he had a horrendous injury? He might not even be back at the beginning of the next year. And
I'm
then,
thinking around playoffs, maybe. If assuming
right.
they get there, maybe he'll be able to come back at that point.
And so then I'm looking at the wide receiver position. I mean, we just gonna ride with Juwan Jennings and Pearsall? Are these gonna be our guys? Do we need to go in the draft or go into free agency and add another guy? So I mean, they got some questions to answer, but they seem Joan Lynch and Shanahan always seem to figure it out. So I believe they'll figure it out again, and they'll be right back next year.
Let me read this. Press said, "Why didn't Minnesota keep him? Because of how those last two games went. To me, they should have kept him though. They should have. And worst case scenario, if you had to, you go to JJ. Because that's going to be your future anyway. But I wouldn't have let him walk out the door.
Well, hindsight is always 2020, and if you pay him, I mean, you drafted a quarterback with the sixth pick in the draft, and then I'm gonna pay this guy. I got to get him a 3-4 year deal. Then I wasted a draft pick. So I understand why they didn't sign him. I'm not one of those hindsight 2020 people that be like, oh, he played great. They should have kept him. Like he looked
I
horrible.
understand.
He
I
looked
understand
horrible
why they
those
did
last
it.
3 games. He looked like Sam Darnold those last 3 games. I would
I,
have let him
under,
go too.
I understand why they did, but to me, when you hadn't really seen JJ, obviously with the injury,
Right,
and
right,
even now he seems to be kind of injury prone, and I'm just hoping that that's not going to be the case for his whole career.
right.
Um, I would at least go for Aaron Rodgers, because you can get like a little one year deal for him. Obviously, you don't have to sign him to like a 5 year, nothing crazy, kind of contract, and figure out, maximize, try to say, a championship window because you have a championship contending roster. And as time goes on, it's not going to stay that way. You got opportunity, and like you got to do something. You can't just keep wasting it.
Yeah. The problem is JJ was slated to be the starter this year. You're not gonna get Aaron Rodgers to be the backup. That's why they went out and
No,
traded and
no, yeah,
got
I mean Aaron Rodgers start and JJ no
right,
backup.
right, right. But they drafted him so high in the draft that you gotta start him if he's healthy. And he was healthy coming into this season. So they were gonna do everything they could to develop him and allow him to start. And they traded for Carson Wentz, a veteran, just in case he did get hurt or something happened. I can put Carson Wentz in and hopefully
Mm-hmm.
because Carson Wentz was familiar with O'Connell and his system. So they
Mm-hmm.
brought Carson Wentz in and they were hoping that if I do got to go to Carson Wentz, then and Carson Wentz came in and he played well. He played okay. I mean, he
Mm-hmm.
wasn't great, but he kept him afloat somewhat. It's just that the guy who you drafted high, and sometimes you miss. But the guy that they drafted high just he couldn't stay healthy. I mean, he did look better as the season was going on when he was able to play, but
Mm-hmm.
he just couldn't stay healthy. I mean, he has all kind of knick-knack injuries. He was almost
Yeah,
like Anthony Davis.
I was gonna say Anthony Richardson a little bit in terms of the injuries, because it's like, wait, how did he get injured? And before the game, just warming up by himself. Like, what the heck happened?
Right.
But um, look, hopefully, we'll see what I guess happens again this season. No, we shouldn't say next season. At this point, and maybe he'll stay healthy. We can really see what this roster can actually really make get further because they have a lot of weapons, a lot of pieces. You got Brian Flores. I mean, they're talking about moving him to a different team, possibly teams be interested in him.
Yeah.
So if he's not there, will it look the same? Because sometimes you move those OCs over and those DCs over, it don't look the same. Even with
Yeah.
the same roster, it don't look the same all the time. So that's something else. But going to the Seahawks side of it, man, they were ready. I mean, they couldn't have come out more ready than what they did in that game. Um, they look to me like, I mean, they got to go play the Rams again, and it's going to be a tough matchup. Matthew Stafford obviously is the better QB between him and Sam Darnold, but I do believe that the Seahawks roster and the way they are playing right now looks better than the Rams. The Rams to me, I don't. Yesterday's game was really weird. The vibe, like the Rams were kind of just like kind of coasting through. Um, Matthew Stafford kind of looked like he was just chilling. I was like, what's going on? Like, what's the sense of urgency in this game? It was, I don't know, it was really, really weird. And hopefully they don't come to the next game like that. Otherwise, it's going to be over before it really begins.
Well, those conditions in Chicago were brutal. I mean, it was cold and windy. I mean, it was
Yeah, it looked
nasty
cold.
out there. Yeah,
It
it
looked
was
cold.
it was it was
It
nasty out
definitely
there,
looked
and it
cold.
was it was snowing. The snow was coming down, and yeah, it was nasty. And Matthew Stafford, to me, he didn't play his best game. You know, some of those throws were off. But when
He
you
hasn't
in
looked
the
too good to me this whole playoff run, though. I'm like, he hasn't looked the same way he did in the regular season. I know it's the postseason, so it's different,
right,
and it's harder, and obviously the temperature, and it definitely was cold as heck out there. But it wasn't just him; though, it was the team. Like Devontae Adams, I was like, dude, like, are you awake? Like, it just kind of
yeah,
looked like they were
yeah.
just like, I don't know,
Well,
maybe because the weather,
Chicago,
but
Deshaun Wright and Briscoe, those guys out there. Kevin Byard, that secondary is stout. They were out there. I mean, Devontae Adams made a couple big catches down the stretch that really helped them win the game. But for the most part, I was like, is Devontae playing? I was looking at my phone. Is he out with the hand meal? What's going
right?
on, Devontae? What, you know? But I think the Rams looked really good yesterday on the defensive side of the ball. I mean, Jared Verse couldn't really get to the quarterback and put a
They
lot of
got some
pressure,
good key stops too in crunch
but
time.
they were able to get a lot of key stops on the running game. Some big stops behind line of scrimmage. The big play on the Andre Swift when he tried to hurdle into the end zone, and they was
Yeah, I
able to
was like,
stop
what,
it there.
what
That was
the heck was
big.
that?
But going to Seattle, Mike McDonald, he had the game plan that I thought D'Amico Ryan should have had for
Hmm.
his team. We're gonna run heavy. I'm not gonna allow CJ Stroud to lose this game for me. We're gonna limit our pass attempts. We're gonna run the lights out the ball. If we have to punt, we punt. The defense is good. Drake
Hmm.
Mail turned the ball over 3 times. We'll win a close game that
Hmm.
way. You know, I'm looking at this Seattle game. They ran the ball 33 times. Sam Darnold threw the ball 17 times. He didn't even have 125 yards passing.
I
He
think
had
he was
one
12
touchdown.
17, right? In terms of completions, 12
Yeah, 12
17.
17, good. He dinked and dunked, you know, and he had a touchdown, which is good. He got sacked twice. He didn't have to do much. I'm gonna hand this ball. Kenny Walker himself had more rushing attempts than Sam Darnold had passing attempts. This is how we're gonna win the game. We're gonna play defense. We're gonna turn Brock Purdy over, and we're gonna run the ball down their throats.
Turn
This
them
is
all
what
the
we're
way
gonna
over.
right.
I was
This is
like,
what
dang,
we're
Brock,
gonna
get up.
do. We're
It's like,
gonna
Brock,
put
get up.
pressure on them, and they put that pressure on them, and it was over. It was over with early. Yeah, I mean,
Very early.
Second half was just a formality,
Look,
So
I still have my faith now. I was trying to hold. I was trying to hang in there for the Niners. Like Kyle Shanahan gonna do something at halftime. And they're gonna come out, and it's gonna be like, man, the Niners have the largest comeback, in divisional round history. And yeah, no, because that's kind of been the theme a little bit. It's like the Bears have these crazy comebacks, and I was like, you know what? Let's see what the NFL dials up. How they're gonna make it interesting. This is the one game that was just like, no, it was not happening
right.
at all. It wasn't happening in this game. Forget that. Um, DJ says Sammy Ethan, that's what I call him, y'all, is 28 years old. He is entering his prime. Do the Rams have a chance? There's
Oh
always a
yeah,
chance.
yeah,
You get in,
yeah.
you can win. That's
Rams
what I
got a good
always say.
chance.
You know, there's always a chance now. If that same Seahawks team shows up and they play the same way, I do have the Seahawks get the Super Bowl.
Yeah,
I
if
do.
they play the same way, yeah, yeah. But I'm gonna pick. I think when we do the pick, I'm gonna pick the Rams. I just trust Matthew Stafford.
You give up early already. Okay, so go ahead, give your prediction. You got
Yeah,
Rams, right?
yeah. I'm just saying I trust Matthew Stafford more than I trust Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold, he just got to make me believe it. Like
Mm-hmm.
from when he was with the Jets to the Carolina to them
The
last few
Jets are an
games he
awful
played in
organization.
Minnesota.
Nobody looks good there.
Right. You're exactly right. I just gotta see it. You gotta make me a believer. And don't get me wrong, I'm one of them guys that once you make me a believer, I say, all right, he that guy.
Mhm.
You know, It's time to get him a raise. He needs to get paid like the top quarterbacks get paid if that's what he chooses to do. But I just gotta see it. You just gotta make me a believer. I know what Matthew Stafford can do. He's done it. These other guys who are in the playoffs right now, you gotta show me. And Sam Darnold is in that boat. Like he just needs to show me. But I will say, as a complete team, I definitely think Seattle has the better
Yeah,
team.
that's what I'm thinking about the
Complete.
team. Yeah, complete team.
Offensively, I think the Rams have a better offense because of the pieces. You know, Puka Nacua, you know, Parkinson's, Devontae Adams, Higbee came back. You got Kyron Williams and Blake Corum back there in the backfield. The offensive line, they're huge. Offensively, I think they're better than Seattle. But when I'm talking about the special teams and defense, yeah, Seattle has everything. And the offense is no slouch either. Because like I said, Kenny Walker, he'll run down your throat. Well, he had 116 yards, 3 touchdowns against the 49ers just this weekend. Jackson Smith might be the best wide receiver in the league right now. I mean, as far as this season goes, he probably had the best season out of all the wide receivers. So, and let's not forget Cooper Kupp. Cooper Kupp been there too. So
going against his former team, right? Who said we don't want you.
Yeah, right.
You know, we don't want you. So he better come in there with some Tobias Harris over me kind of energy, man. You know,
it's gonna be a great game.
Matthew has a hand injury and 40 years old. Shador should have been drafted by the Rams. Y'all don't bring Shador to every conversation, man. I don't know what Shador's doing right now. Maybe he's somewhere working on this game. Let that young man rest down.
Shador would have turned the Rams down. He wouldn't have went.
Mendoza's draft stock is dropping. He's useless against a solid defensive line. And Perez said the Seahawks are the Jets quarterback repair shop. All right, you guys, moving along to this topic that I purposely have last because you guys, I don't want to cry. I am so heartbroken. You guys have no idea. I was watching Joshua Tyrell Allen. I felt so freaking bad. I was like, Josh, hold your head up. Hold your freaking head up. Man, move the conversation forward because that was brutal for me, y'all. If y'all were here with me live watching this game, I was like, oh my gosh, I was so anxious. I had butterflies the whole freaking game. Like I had like the jitters. I was like, come on. Oh, and it just ended in heartbreak again. It's rough being a Bills fan, y'all. It's rough. We'll be back. We'll be back next season. In the season after that, as long as Josh is there, we're gonna rock out. But moving forward, I think I asked you maybe 2 weeks ago. I was like, is there a world where the Bills don't win or get to Super Bowl? Will they fire Sean McDermott? Maybe you see all these other coaches getting fired now. And I can't remember what you said, but fast forward to today.
I didn't see it.
Huh?
I think I told you I didn't see it. I didn't think it was.
Maybe I don't remember exactly what you said. But I remember asking you that. And fast forward to this morning, I'm watching Get Up, and then you see Adam Schefter kind of like runs out, and I was like, oh snap! Like what's going on? What happened? Somebody lose their job. You know, something's going on. And then it's like Bills, head coach. I'm like, oh man, Sean got the boot. I sent it to you too. What did you think when you saw this? Did you agree with it?
Oh no, I don't never agree with firing good coaches unless you tell me I got somebody. Now they tell me because we got Mike Tomlin. Mike Tomlin's about to come in, and this
Mike
is what we're gonna do.
The Bills, right? Crazy.
Yeah, but it's not gonna happen. But if they told me that was the reason why they was getting rid of McDermott, or John Harbaugh decided he didn't want to go to the Giants, Harbaugh is about to come in here, then I'd be like, okay, go ahead and get rid of Sean McDermott and bring those guys in. But I'm like, okay, you got to bring in a coach that's gonna be better than McDermott. And if you don't do that, then you're gonna get more of the same. I just don't like when coaches are the scapegoat because I'm looking at the numbers. They had 449 total yards. That they had 100 yards more than the Broncos did. They had 183 rushing yards. The Broncos only had 70. They got more yards per play. They had 28 first downs to the Broncos 22. They ran 78 plays to the Broncos 68. They had 41 minutes of time possession to 29 minutes for the Broncos. You lost the game because your best two players turned the ball over all day. If they don't turn the ball over, you win. You win. Not only do you win convincingly. You were night and day better than the Denver Broncos. Denver Broncos got out of there happy to be alive. Those numbers right there. Anybody else if I told anybody else they didn't watch the game, I said here's Buffalo numbers and these the Broncos numbers. You tell me, oh, Buffalo blew them out the building. But then when I go back and I tell you, well, the quarterback he turned the ball over 4 times and the running back fumbled the ball. He's like, damn, did they win? Now you start to question, but they were night and day better than the Broncos.
Even with watching this game, to me, there's a few things to me that obviously, just as a Buffalo supporter, Joshua Tyrell is my guy, that you wish that they did differently. Starting with James Cook, the first one, because that was the first one of the day. And I was like, oh my God, James, like, how do you get punched out like that, man? And then I'm like, somebody jump on it, like, I need you to be faster. Like some of these teams, when the ball's being punched out, their teammates are diving on it. Like, no, we got you. Like, y'all, urgency, get the ball back. And they're on Chilligan's Island, man. Come on, and looking around like, oh, it's on the floor. Get it, like
exactly right.
Like, come on, man. Have James's back. That was the first one. Led to 7 points. I was like, oh man. And then they get the ball back, and they go up 7. And then Josh, right before halftime, he's running, and arm is flailing, and that one gets knocked out. And then I forgot who dived on it, and then it went through his legs, and the other guy, I forgot his number, dived on it, and they got the ball back right into field goal. So now you're up, as opposed to 7, now they're up 10. I'm like, oh man. But in spite of all of that, the game, they end up getting the lead, the Bills. Yeah. And then they're in position to still win this game in spite of all the turnovers and everything, that happened in the game. And then the controversial call, with Brandon Cooks. And obviously I feel like it was a catch. I know you feel differently. We're going back and forth, texting about it. I'm like, dude, he caught the freaking ball. He is down before. He is down before the I can't think of his the player's name, y'all, so forgive me. If you know it, drop it in the chat. You can tell me. He comes down. He's down with it with both hands. Clearly, if you look at the still, you see him on the ground with the ball, and the Broncos player is still up trying to get the ball. So I'm just like, how in the world are we saying it's an interception? And for me, I'm like, Sean McDermott called a timeout, try to get them review it. At least go look at it. The game went so freaking long. I just went like the longest game this week in almost 4 hours, and we're sitting here all this time. At least go back and look at it. You know what I mean? So I said, McMillan, thank you so much. Thank you.
Yeah, McMillan. That's right.
Hey, what's up? What's up, Mel? What's up? Thank you. And yes, McMillan. I'm like, at least go back and look at it now. So we'll skate past that, right? Fast forward, but to me, that was such a crucial call because you're talking about the difference between them actually moving forward to potentially a game-winning field goal or Broncos getting the ball back, and then we know how that ended, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then we go to the pass interference calls.
Right.
They have been tugging and pulling on one another the entire game. I saw offensive linemen holding. I saw masks being pulled. I'm like, okay, they're letting the players play. No problem with it. Go ahead, play aggressive. Clear each other on the field if you're going to. You know what I mean? I have no problem with it. But why are you waiting until overtime to then be like, okay, pass interference call? Like,
oh wow.
Like, what are we doing? Like, keep it the same way because if the players, I think Randy Moss spoke about this. He's like, typically, in games, like the coach will come over and say, look, the refs, they're going to be making every single call this game. Bring your P's and Q's, or they're letting us play this game. You got a little bit more freedom. If you're letting the players duke it out the whole game, they're of the mindset that you're letting them play with a little bit more aggressive, aggression. You're not necessarily calling every little thing. That's what they're thinking. Even Tre'Davious White was like, I thought that they were letting us play because that was the tone that had been set. So for me,
Yeah.
that's what I did not like. If you're gonna call it, then call it, but don't wait until overtime. And we're talking about potential Super Bowl appearance on the line. You're like pass interference.
Yeah. Tre'Davious should have known better.
Well, I
Like
will. Him throwing his helmet
when
down is a whole different conversation. I'm not talking
right
about that one. You know,
when they allow players to play, that's more in the trenches because you can call holding on every play in the NFL.
I
You
mean,
know,
really, you can make a case for it more times
right,
than
right.
not. Yeah.
You can call holding every play. It's some like hands to the face, you know, that type of thing. You know, sometimes if you gonna let them play, you let them get away with that type of stuff. But a blatant pass interference, you can't. That's just something that Tre'Davious White knows. You, you can't bank on them letting you get away with that. That ain't something they're
Well,
gonna
there
let you
was
play
one
through.
before that though.
Just don't do
Who had
that.
it? Who was it? I forgot the Broncos player and who was in the end zone for the Bills. And you see clearly he is holding his arm, pulling
Right,
his
right,
arm back.
right. That's Riley
Nothing called.
Moss. Riley
Nothing
Moss
called.
on the pass. It was in, and I thought they could have called it. You know, I thought it was one of them calls they could have went either way. If they would have called pass interference on Riley Moss, I'm like, okay, I can see where they were jostling. He kind of had his arm. They could have called it. But what Tre'Davious White did, if they wouldn't have called it, the NFL would have had a problem. Like that was just too blatant. Like you did it, bro. Like they go back and watch the replay. There's no way he can go back and watch that replay and be like, I didn't grab the man. Like you just can't make it that blatant, you know.
Other one was
So
blatant to me too. You're blatantly holding his arm back. You are holding his freaking left arm back. You
yeah, I
have it
mean
with
they could
two
have called
hands.
both of them, right?
You have it with two hands. He's like this. Like we can see it clear as day. You know,
Right,
so I'm like, okay, they're not calling it again. Nope, whatever, and then, that's the part that really, really made me mad. Honestly speaking, the defense in these 12 games, I know Josh obviously is the QB. Everybody's like, this is the year. Patrick Mahomes is not there. No Joe Burrow, no
right.
Lamar, and we got to get it done. Yada yada
Yeah,
yada. And I get that. And obviously, I said even when I did a recap, Josh, it wasn't his best game. You know what I mean? You have to take care of the ball. I can't negate that, right? But I'm
right.
looking at some of these teams, for example, the Texans, for example, the Patriots. Drake May struggled yesterday, but you saw his
Yeah,
defense stepped up. They know that Texans defense was legit, so they came in there and they were like, you know what, we're going to give our QB every opportunity to make sure that we have his back. And we walk away with the win. And there are a lot of times in the game, multiple games, but just focusing on what happened yesterday, when I'm watching the Bills defense, and it just seemed very laxed. I'm like, there's plenty of times where they could have had interceptions. The ball just went right through or just went over. I'm like, just a little bit more effort. You know what I mean? You could have batted it down. You could have maybe caught it, interception. I'm just this little things. I'm just like, come on, y'all, help him out. Y'all see he's struggling. He's not having a good game. The offense was struggling anyway. I mean, it was struggling. Help him out.
right.
Like even when they finally got the lead back, going before but like up to like the last 2 minutes, the Bills had the ball, and I forgot exactly how much time was on the clock when they gave the Broncos the ball back. You have the lead. I'm just like, just get a stop. All you gotta do is
Yeah,
get 4 stops, and this game
yeah,
is over. I'm like, come on, y'all, just hold on, just hold on. You got less than 2 minutes left, less than I think a minute and a half at that point. Just hold on, and they couldn't do it. Field goal. Obviously, here we are in overtime. I'm like, come on, y'all. Like
yeah.
this defense in all playoff games, points. It's like 33 and a half points you're averaging. Come on, we got to get some
Right,
stops here. You got to get some,
right.
got to put some stops together. You know what I mean? So to me, I don't think I wouldn't have fired Sean McDermott. I understand why they did it because they look at the whole totality of them not
Yeah,
succeeding over the course of his tenure there. But I'm looking at the GM. To me, should have went right along with him. Because you haven't done enough with this roster. And I think Sean has done the best that he could with the pieces that he has, to get them in position, to win the game. So I don't know who they're gonna get because John's gone. They're trying to get Mike Tom. I don't know if they're gonna pay all that money to bring him, to Buffalo. But I'm just like, I hope they know what they're doing. I know because who are you getting in there to take his spot?
yeah. Well, Brandon Bean gonna have to figure it out. Um,
And he got promoted.
yeah, yeah,
I'm like,
yeah. Got
promoted from what? Promoted from what? Are we serious? So
right.
just so Sean
He's
gets
gonna get more
fired,
power.
you keep your job, and you're promoted. I mean, you haven't done nothing at all. You know what I mean? You brought in an injured Bosa. Okay, all off
Yeah.
season, I was like checking, like Adam Schefter, breaking news, like what are the Bills doing? Who they bringing? Who they trying to get? What's going on? And it was like virtually nothing on Warriors, just nothing.
But Bosa was a good piece. Bosa didn't have a terrible. I mean, he got, he's always gonna have some injuries, but I
He
mean,
slammed his helmet after the game. I'm like, dude, what was that energy in the game?
right.
Not you all
Yeah.
excited and revved up because you lost, but you were non-existent in that game. Where were you? I'm like, is Bosa
Yeah.
playing? I was like,
Yeah.
is he
I
playing?
mean, they didn't win. I didn't see anybody. Anybody on that defensive line was able to get Russo, and like I'm like, where are these guys at? Where y'all at? You know, it just wasn't a good effort by the defensive line. Now, don't get me wrong. I don't think the defense played awful. Considering that they turned the ball over 5 times, and you put
Mm-hmm.
your defense back out on the field, but considering the Denver Broncos only had 29 minutes of possession. That means your defense was only out there for 29 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
You got to be fresh. You know what I'm saying? You got to make more plays, to your point. Can anybody get pressure on the quarterback? What are we doing out here? I mean, you didn't sack Bo Nix one time.
At all. At
Right.
all. And that
What?
last drive, the Bills had the possession in the fourth quarter for like 7 minutes and 39 seconds, something like that. You got a
Right.
nice little rest. I need you to come out and get just 4 stops,
Right.
and the
What are
game
we
is over.
doing?
And
You
I'm just
know,
like, you had almost 8 minutes of rest, Gatorade,
right.
hot cocoa, chicken broth, whatever it is, I don't know, and water,
Exactly.
and then nothing. I'm like,
You,
come
you
on, y'all,
you're allowing
please
wide
come on.
receivers to get behind you. It just, where is my guy Franklin when you need him? They had a good defensive coordinator and they let him go. But this is what happens when you allow good coaches to leave. Leslie Frazier, that's what I mean. Leslie Frazier was a great defensive coordinator. Buffalo had their best defense when they had Leslie Frazier. And then for some reason he had some sort of miscommunication or some sort of disagreement with the other coaches or the front office, and they let Leslie Frazier go.
Mm-hmm.
Well, okay, your defense has never been the same since. When
But
you
Sean
have good,
McDermott, he's a defensive-minded coach. Like that's the thing. I'm just like, whatever your calling card is, that should be the star of the show, or at least close enough to it, because you got Josh on the other side, right?
right?
We shouldn't be looking at the defense if that's supposed to be like your thing. Like
It,
that's
it,
your thing.
it does. It sounds good, but is he calling the defense? See, it's like a lot of people believe that Kyle Shanahan is calling the offense in
Mm-hmm.
San Francisco, even though Kyle Shanahan comes out yesterday and says that his offensive coordinator actually does call plays. Like, come on, man, we know who calling the plays. You getting all the
Mm-hmm.
credit, but for the most part, a lot of head coaches do just want to be the head coach. They want to run the whole team. They want to oversee the whole team, and they delegate authority until it comes to a point where they feel pressure from up top that, if you're a defensive coach, man, your defense ain't looking good. I need you to start calling the plays. Or your
Mm-hmm.
offense ain't looking good. I need you. Hell, we signed Dan Campbell. Dan Campbell ain't never been the offensive guy. He like,
He
I'm
tried.
calling. He like, I'm calling the offense now. Like, what do you mean? Like, you're a defense. Your defense ain't no good. Why don't you try to call that side of the ball? But
He said, I got
yeah,
both.
but I
He
feel you
said, I'm gonna
though.
do both.
I feel you though. If you're, if your calling card is defense, then the fans are going to expect your defense to be good. I mean,
And there's
sometimes
been a
it's not
few
the
times
reality,
though. You think about
but
the 13-second game, you know what I mean? 13 seconds left, defense can't
yeah,
hold up. I
Leslie
mean, come
Frazier was
on.
the defensive coordinator then
We're talking
too.
about
That's
13 damn seconds,
unfortunate,
man.
right?
It's just so many times we look back at these games and we're like, the defense didn't play up to par. If it was just one time, one game, I'm like, okay, it just wasn't their best game. It sucks, but that happens. But it's been a few times, so I'm not surprised that it happened. I'm just hoping that they know what they're doing. Because who Brandon has brought in to help this roster hasn't been it at all. So honestly, I don't trust him to bring in a good enough head coach. And you really got to be careful because Josh is turning 30, I believe in May. He's getting older. He ain't getting younger. Like
Right.
He's peaked. He's peaked. He's only going to get older, slower, and things are going to happen, as the age,
Yeah.
seeps in, So I'm just like, this is a really, really important hire, like really important.
Yeah.
Choose
One,
wisely, man.
yeah, he does have to make some great picks going forward. I mean, I think two other reasons why he's able to keep his job and maybe even get promoted. He drafted Josh Allen. He saw a kid who wasn't even playing, I mean, really high level college football, but he saw a kid
Mhm.
and said, I think this kid has something and he can be a guy going forward. And it turns
Mhm.
out that, Josh Allen turned out to be one of those guys. And also the
Touchdown to
the
Miami.
the fact that they continue to make the playoffs year in and year out, it's hard to find a general manager who's gonna make you a perennial playoff contender. And
Hmm.
so for those reasons, I think they kept him. But yes, he has had some misses in the recent years, in the recent drafts, that he's gonna have to, in this draft going forward, he's gonna have to hit on, because the truth of the matter is free agents aren't lining up to come to Buffalo. That's why you'll get the Von Millers when he's on his last leg. You'll get the Bosa when he's on his last leg. You get guys like that, but no top free agent is trying to go to
Sure, hold on.
Buffalo. You better trade for him,
Come say hi to
or you
people.
better get
Come say hi. Come say hi.
a
Yeah, hear my son's
draft
deep
pick.
voice. Come say hi. Well, can't see you.
Oh, that Mello. What going
Yeah, what's
on?
up? I'm good. I'm good.
I
Did you
call
put
you
extra bass
Mello
in your
'cause
voice?
I
I'm,
call you
I'm good.
Mello
I'm
because
good.
you're a baller, man.
Like,
That's
I'm
just
good.
a
I'm good.
baller name.
He put that extra bass in his voice.
Yeah, he wanted to make sure
But
that
go ahead. What you
everybody
were saying?
know. He want to make sure you got people in the chat. Want to let everybody know, hey, I'm here. But yeah, uh, he got a hit
So
because, like I said, he got a Brandon Bean got a hit in the draft, and he got to try to make trades because the free agents aren't lining up to go to Buffalo.
AJ
So
Brown is very disgruntled and unhappy about the lack of catches that he's getting. Jalen Hurts. He would get them with Josh.
yeah, but AJ
Make it
Brown can't
happen.
trade himself. You're gonna have to
True.
go.
True.
You're gonna have to go talk to Howie Roseman
Hmm.
and offer him a king's ransom. And if you do that, you can get AJ Brown. Just
Yeah.
offer him the house, offer him your next first round draft pick the year after that, and the year after that, and AJ Brown will be in your house.
But really do your research and make sure. Do you keep Keon Coleman or you
Oh
get rid of
no,
him?
oh no, he got to go.
You get rid of him?
That's a miss. I missed on that pick. The guys are not. He don't really want to play football. He's not dedicated like that. I mean, how many DNPs did he have? Healthy
Yeah.
scratches.
Yeah. Coach's decision. Yeah. I was like,
Nah,
come on, Keon. Come on, man.
nah.
Um, I saw a lot of people saying bring a Brian Dayball back as an OC, maybe head coach. I don't know. I'm not convinced that he's a good head coach.
I'm not convinced he's a good head. I mean, don't get me wrong. I thought Brian Debo was a decent coach, but the last 2 years, and then when you see Daniel Jones go down to Indiana and do what he did,
Indiana
it
Jones,
just
forgot about him.
right,
Hmm.
right. It just made me like, I don't know about Brian Dayball. And then the way he tried to hitch himself to Jackson Dart,
He's trying to keep his job.
yeah,
He didn't
I
want to
didn't I
get
didn't like
fired.
that. Like, it's one thing to, you know, I just don't believe as a head coach you have to have that type of relationship with any of your players. You know, Belichick and Tom Brady they didn't have that type of relationship. You know,
Also, Tom Brady's a different QB though mentally, and so it's a little bit
right,
different.
right. So I mean, but maybe some coaches do want to have that type, but I just don't think it's
Well, it seems like it's
necessary.
worked out for Ben and Caleb. Like their relationship. I'm not saying that they're super close or nothing, but he said he changed his life. So they
Right,
obviously have a good enough relationship.
right. And you
For
want to have a
yeah.
healthy relationship. I mean, it's not like Brady and
I don't know
Belichick
to what
hated
extent
each.
though, obviously.
Like Brady and Belichick didn't hate each other. They just not hanging at each other's house in the off season. you come to work, and I come to work. The game plan, and I need you to go out there and execute. Okay, the quarterback hurt his thumb. I mean, Brady down there had to sever his thumb. Belichick come up there and say, "Oh man, it ain't nothing." So he got a scratch on his thumb. I expect him to play well this week. You know what I'm saying? Ain't no excuses. That's just it.
So who would you like to see if you had your pick of coaches, to go into Buffalo and hopefully get them to the Super Bowl? Because it got to be Super Bowl. No, that's what they're looking
Man,
for.
that's
There's a
the
lot of
thing. It's
pressure.
so
You come in there like Super Bowl or bust. That's expectation when you come
it's
there.
Super Bowl.
Nothing less.
You're right. It's Super Bowl or bust. And right now, I think the best coach that's available right now probably be Mike McCarthy. He's proven.
I forgot
You
about
know,
Mike.
he's
I forgot
proven.
about Mike. Yeah.
But sometimes there's an up and coming coordinator who is ready to have a head coaching job that we might not see coming. And maybe that's the answer. But whoever it is, it's Super Bowl or bust. Like you said, he's gonna be expected to win a championship. And if he doesn't win a championship, he's gonna get fired.
What
So
about?
I think the Buffalo job can be a good job because you have a quarterback, but I think it could be a trap job.
It could be, yeah, because expectations are there. Yeah. Same thing when you go to the
Right.
Ravens. They're like Super Bowl.
Right.
Like that's what we're expecting. You got Lamar Jackson here, Josh Allen is here, Super Bowl. That's it. Like,
That's it.
we don't want to hear anything else because we've seen Josh get to AFC Championship. We know they can get there. We're trying to get past that at this point. So there is a lot of expectations and pressure that comes with that job. So you know I forgot about Mike McCarthy. I like the idea of him, but in terms of who you bring in for that defense though, because now Sean is gone. So do you try to get someone like a Brian Flores, Jonathan Gannon from Arizona? You go somebody else maybe from college, or who do you think for defense?
Well, there's a few guys out there. It all depends on who you ready to pay. I mean, Brian Flores is getting a real. Now, I personally am on record that said I don't think Brian Flores will ever get a head coaching job again. But if there's one
Probably not.
place, he will get a head coaching opportunity, it's Pittsburgh. And so he's had a second interview with the Pittsburgh Steelers. We'll see how that
He has. I
goes.
didn't know that. Okay,
Right.
good for
We'll
him.
see how that goes. Other than that, it's on record. Minnesota is ready to throw him all the money to come back and be their defensive coordinator.
Hmm.
That's what you're gonna have to do. Is Buffalo ready to go in the bank and pay?
I mean, you're
Do
gonna
you
have
want
to look, man. You're gonna have to.
right,
You can't always be cheap, and try to cut
right,
corners and save and scrimp, because it's not gonna. You're not gonna get what you want to get ultimately.
right.
You know.
But what you can't do, you can't pay your defensive coordinator more than you pay your head coach. So that's why it's gonna all depends on who they hire a head coach. Because you hire somebody like a Mike McCarthy, he's gonna come at a steep price. But if you go into a young coach, an upstart coach, a coach who's getting his first opportunity, he comes at a lower price.
He
He's
does.
gonna probably come at a price that Brian Flores is gonna want. So unless you're ready to go all in with your head coach and your defensive coordinator, then I just don't see Brian Flores coming. Maybe you can get a Jonathan Gannon to come in. We'll
Hmm.
see if Robert Saleh gets a job. If not, I'm pretty sure San
Mm,
Francisco is
forgot
going to
about
want to
Robert too.
retain Robert Saleh.
Yeah.
But if you offer him a buttload of money, more than 49ers are willing to give him, I'm pretty sure he'll jump ship. So, I mean, there's a lot of questions to be answered in Buffalo because they kind of late
Yeah.
in the game on the coaching carousel. You know, coaching carousel opened
Very
up
late. Yeah.
2-3 weeks ago, and now you just made your decision. So now you trying to, you missed out on two of the top guys. So now you trying to find out who you can get, who's available. So and I see Miami just hired their head coach today. They took
Who they hire? I missed it.
they took
Who they hire?
they took Jeff Hadley, the defensive coordinator from the Green Bay Packers. He's now the head coach of the Miami Dolphins. So,
Okay.
they just they decided to go with a new guy.
Hmm.
So we'll see how it works out. But I'm pretty sure a lot of guys weren't lining up to take that Miami job, considering you have to start Tua at quarterback, and your other option is Quinn Ewers. You're not going in the draft to select another quarterback, so you got to try to make that work. Which means you need somebody up there who's gonna beef up that defense.
Mm-hmm.
Because in the AFC East, you got Josh Allen, and now you got Drake May. You gonna have to defend. You're gonna have to stop them from scoring 30, 40 points every game.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, I think it might be a good hire. We'll see.
So we shall see. Personally, I'm like, if expectation is Super Bowl, I'm not going to go with the first time head coach. Because sometimes it takes, everybody doesn't just come right in and exceed expectations. You know what I
Right.
mean? As a head coach. I mean, the roster's still there. Josh is there. Who are you bringing in to add to this roster? What pieces are you bringing in for this defense? Who's a defensive coordinator? Who's going to be your OC? What's are you keeping Joe Brady, or are you going to promote him maybe? So there are some other questions there as well. But for me, because you have Josh, and Josh turned 30, you can't afford to waste no more time. So
No.
if I'm Brandon, I'm going for somebody who is experienced, who knows how to run a team organization.
Right.
But we're gonna see what they do. So you guys, before we get out of here, in terms of predictions, right? So really quickly, before we get out of here, AFC, you are going
Oh, I'm
Broncos.
going New England.
You going New England?
Yeah, I'm going New England. I can't trust Jarrett Stidham. That's what
You
I can't
trust
do.
Sean Payton, though? Not necessarily Jarrett Stidham,
I
but
trust
Sean
Mike
Payton.
Vrabel and Drake May. I think Mike Vrabel is just as good a head coach as Sean Payton. I think they're right on par with each other. It's once again, it's a reason why I don't understand teams letting go good coaches. Tennessee is looking for his third coach already since they let
Yeah.
Mike Vrabel go, and Mike Vrabel is on the cusp of going to the Super Bowl. Why? You not you if you're gonna fire Mike Vrabel, at least find a coach that's better than Mike Vrabel. And they didn't do that. So I just don't understand that logic.
I can't stand Sean Payton, y'all know that. But I don't like the way I'm not too sold on the way Drake May has looked in the playoffs. This is his first time, so
Yeah.
giving him some grace. The defense showed me big time they stepped up, and they matched that Texans defense, which was, obviously no easy task, but they did it. All in all, I'm still gonna go Broncos, and I'm gonna go Seahawks.
Okay, I got you.
You're going Patriots and
We're gonna
Rams.
I'm going Patriots and Rams. Rematch. What year was that? They went 2002. Was it 2002, 2003?
Mhm.
Yeah, so no, that might have been 2001. When was 9/11? That was 2001, right?
I'm not sure. The Chiefs brought him back in though for OC. I saw yesterday.
Oh, okay. I was reading that they were considering bringing him back, but I didn't know
Yeah, they
whether or
brought him
not they
in.
had officially
I don't know
did
what
it.
happened. They had a conversation with him. I don't know what came.
But he had a good year as the running backs coach in Chicago. They ran lights out the ball. I mean, I'm glad that Airbnb getting another opportunity to be. I really don't. I really don't know if
No.
he's a good coach or not. But Andy Reid like him, and when him and Andy Reid was together, they won Super Bowls. So whatever you got to do, that's one thing about Andy Reid. He ain't gonna take this lightly. This all this losing they had. And hey, Eric, come on, we putting the band back together. It's time to go. Maybe they trade and they get Tyreek Hill back. Hey, we gotta do whatever we gotta do to get back to the Super Bowl.
I bet
It's
he
Super
want to
Bowl
get
to
back
bust.
there for real.
Right. As long as you paying him his money, he'll go back.
Honestly speaking, them stats done took a dip. Major injury. I mean, that leg did not look good at all.
Yeah.
So they might be able to get away with paying him just a little bit less, than what they would have had that not happened. And he got a lot of issues going on off the field, so he needs his money.
Yeah.
He needs some kind of money.
Tyreek want to win at this point. I mean, he done made all the money in the world.
Yeah.
Now he do got like 10 baby
Well,
mamas or something
I
like
must say,
that.
yeah,
So
he got a lot of
he
money he
need,
dishing
yeah,
out. You know,
he needed
alimony.
bread.
Like it's a lot going on, man.
Right.
So
He needed check. But I do think he wants to win. And so maybe
yeah.
he'll be, he'll
Now he sees
reconsider.
how he kind of had it made out there with Pat. He's like looking like, man,
Yeah,
maybe
yeah.
I should have
I
stayed.
mean, hell,
Like,
honestly, the first 2 years he had with Tua were great. He was still putting up big numbers. It's
yeah,
just
Tua's health though.
It's different
Tua's
with Pat.
concerns me. His health, man.
Yeah, yeah, and it's concerning. I mean, like I said, Pat clearly is a better quarterback,
Yeah.
and with Andy Reid calling the offense, there's different things that you can take advantage of with a guy like Tyreek Hill. I mean,
Hmm.
with Miami Dolphins, you pretty much had him running comebacks and crossing routes. He's a guy that you won't let him go. You won't let the horses loose. Tua can't
Hmm.
throw it over the top like that, but Pat Mahomes can. So if Tyreek Hill and Tyreek Hill is my favorite NFL player, if he can get back to 95% of what he was, he'll still be the best receiver in the game, in my opinion. So I just hope he can get back healthy and get back to somewhat who the Tyreek of old was, and find happiness. Find happiness. Hopefully he can get back to
Hmm.
Kansas City. Okay, all right, Mendoza. I see Mendoza out there on 4th and 5. See,
Another
that's what you got to
touchdown for
do.
Indiana.
That's what you got to do on 4th and 5.
Hmm.
You got to make the play. The coach trusts you. Make the play.
Mendoza threw himself over there trying to get got
Yeah,
that
yeah.
touchdown, man.
He took some hits. He was looking like a one of them ping pong balls in the pinball machine.
And Miami, like they beating themselves tonight, man. Come on, y'all. Hold on. Let's go. Who's I need a Caribbean vacation. You bet a lot of money on the winner of this game this year. Good for you. All right, you guys. So we'll be back next week with the Super Bowl winners. Well, Super Bowl players, teams that
Well,
will be in the
yeah,
Super Bowl,
we'll
guys.
see
So
who's
yeah,
going.
yeah. We're gonna see who's gonna get there, you guys. This is it. This is it, man. Season's almost over. We got two more of these, right? Next week and then Super Bowl,
And then
obviously,
Super
when that
Bowl.
happens,
Right.
Oh man. Went by so fast, you guys. So fast.
Yeah.
So much fun rocking out with you guys every single Monday. All right, you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in to this live. Obviously, a little bit earlier than we normally do. So thank you guys for hopping on, getting the chat. So good seeing all of you in here. Nasir at 212. Um, I am. I'm not being mean to you at all. I'm not being
I
mean to
think
you.
is that what 'cause somebody said we got a simp in the chat. It was he
Yeah,
I
I
don't
think
know
DJ.
I don't
Yeah,
know who he
DJ
was
said that.
referring to. I'm
I
not
think
saying
he's
no
talking
names or
about
pointing no
at.
elbows, but
I think he's talking about at 212.
oh, okay,
Um,
okay.
you asked me about lobster or steak. I'm gonna go with
Yeah.
seafood always. Um, uh, Rams or next year, huh? What do you mean this year? Rams or who?
Rams or next year. Is the Rams gonna win or the next year? I don't know. I think this is it for the Rams.
Yeah, I
I
think it's
think
gonna
this
be
is
because they have to do with this. Don't count on next year.
right. This
If
is
you
it.
can get it, yeah, get it done right now because Matt ain't getting no younger, man. So yeah, you gotta do what you gotta do now. Um, Brother D's up in here.
Brother
Chris was in
D.
here.
Man, I'm
Mel
sorry,
was
brother
in
D. It
here.
happened to us, man. The feeling Jalen Hurts just couldn't get it done, man.
And
Just couldn't
AJ
get it
Brown dropping
done.
those passes.
AJ Brown was
But
dropping passes too. I'm
like
pissed
man.
off about that.
All right,
But
you guys.
I found it in my heart to forgive him.
Mm-hmm. You
We
found
might
your hearts
need
to
him.
be good, really.
Yeah, we might need him.
Oh man, you guys. All right. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful, wonderful night. See you all next week, next Monday.
See you guys. Make sure you hit the like and subscribe button. Please share it with one person. And we
Or two.
appreciate it. Or two, right.